Go to the Tools panel of Affinity Photo and select the Ellipse tool. With that selected, simply add a very quick ellipse. Now I'm going to create a couple of them. So I'm just going to create another one, maybe another one there, another one, some small ones, some big ones, and they're all the same colour, obviously a mustard colour at this point. However, what you can do is, of course, you can recolour them. The quickest and easiest probably way, just go to the Swatches panel. You can find that in the View menu, Studio and Swatches. And simply click there, and of course there's probably other ways to do it, but this is the way I've always done it. Simply just select them. And you don't have to go for different colours, you could go for exactly the same colour, perfectly reasonable as well. But I just think it looks nicer having some variety of colours in this. I'm just going for a few, let's just go there, maybe not that one, and I think that looks reasonable. Okay, so I've got a nice mix of colours all across that, and you can see the design there. Now what I want to now do is I want to merge them. So I'm just going to quickly go to a layer and then merge visible. So they all become one single pixel layer. And that's the key thing. You can see over here in the layers panel, it become a pixel. And that's useful because I'm going to create them as a brush in a sec. But I'm just going to add some effects as well. So I'm just going to go here, click effects, and I'm just going to go for maybe outer shadow, always like a nice shadow there, and their intensity, so you can just about see it, and also 3D. So just make that nice 3D effect there. Maybe not push it too far, but a reasonable level, so you can just see a nice round there. Click close. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this into a raster layer. Of course it is a pixel layer, but I think it just works nicer if you don't have to do this, but this is the way I do it. So layer and rasterize. Because sometimes it seems to not always get the shadow and things, and that's what I want to think. So I'm just going to deselect that and rasterize. So I just turn it all into a very standard pixel layer, and it's all done, all together. Now I've got rid of everything else, so I've just got that, and it's not an effects anymore. So it's got this, but it's a pixel layer. So once I've done that, I can now go up here to select and selection from layer. I always think it should be in the layer one, but it's always in the selection from layer. And you can see now you've got the selection. Weirdly, that bit the shadow doesn't seem to be selected. As far as I can see, it is actually selected. So now what you can do, you can go over here to the brushes, and that's in the View menu, Studio and Brushes. And you can see I've got some brushes earlier that I've created. I'm just going to go to the right side menu, and I can go down here to New Brush from Selection. And you can see now I've just added that as a brush. Now I'm going to remove this now. So I'm just going to select and deselect, and I'll just remove the layer. There's no layers now, but it will create a layer. So I'm just going to go to the brush tool, paintbrush tool over here in the tools panel, and I'm going to select this brush. And you can see now I've got that selected, and I can apply it. And you can see it's got the shadow, it's got the 3D, it's nice. That's what I want. But you can double click on it, and eventually it will come up, and you can resize this. You can set the size. You can also modify various things like spacing, so you can make a nice sort of flowing design. Now, let's just move that out of the way so you can just see like that. So it creates a very nice, if that's what you want. Now I'm not going to be using that, but I just wanted to show you can do that. And also you can do rotation, so you can see you can create nice rotation. I'm just going to make the spacing like that, pretty reasonable. Dynamics, also I'm just going to put some size jitter there. And also I'm going to have hue jitter because I want it to be multicoloured, lots of different colours. So I'm just modifying that. And also I want it to be rotating. You can see the rotation. That looks really nice. It'd be nice if that brush actually was created, but so you can see the result there. And you can create all kinds of different variations of this. I think that looks quite a nice design. So I'm going to remove these swatches now, just get that out of the way. Brushes I can move over there, and this panel I can close now. I've got what I want at this stage. Next stage, I'm going to create another layer. So I'm just going to quickly apply this, and you can see you can create nice lights sort of all the way across the screen. What I'm now going to do, I'm going to actually go again. I'm just going to, with this, I can select that. You can see that selected. And also I can go to select and down to selection from layer. Now with that selected, what you can now do again, you can go to brushes. So you go over here, again, right click, and you've got new brush from selection. So new brush from selection, and I'm just going to remove that. So deselect and remove that layer again, just delete it, press the delete key. And again, go to the brush tool, paintbrush tool, and you can see now you've got this other one. And that's quite a large one, and I'm just going to, like, oh, it is. This time it did. Sometimes I've run tests where it just doesn't seem to. So it's one of those things that you may find suddenly you don't have the shadow for some weird reason. Now, if you double click again on that, you can see now you've got the size there. You've got there. The size is fairly large. I want a bit smaller, so I'm just going to reduce that down a bit. And also you can rotate it if you want to see it in different angles there. But also what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for rotation jitter. So you can see now you've got it rotated there, and you can modify this setting. You can also, if you want, doesn't particularly matter, you can add hue jitters to that as well. Create even more unusual designs. And again, you can go to general and you can change the spacing. Maybe have it very crunched together. Close. And now you can apply it. And you can actually create very, very amazing, quick noise designs. Now, of course, you can make it slightly bigger than that. You don't have to go with that small. Maybe go for that size, because it's quite a fairly large thing. Now, however, when it's like that, sometimes it's a bit slow. You can see it just takes a few seconds to process. So it's probably works best if you've got it something, say 480, 500. But then, of course, you get very, very small dots. Just really depends what you want. You can vary that. You put the size there. Oh, that seems to be a bit more flowing. And you can just fill the screen straight away with zillions and zillions of dots. And of course, what you can do with that, you can apply effects and things. I always love my favourite, and I will do that because I always enjoy doing that, is filters and distort and deform. Simply go to that. Okay, bring up the panel there, and you've got rigid and similarity. I always like similarity. So add some handles, and you can distort this design, and you can create very rapidly a very colourful and unusual sort of design there. And then create all kinds of weird. Now, I would love to see an animation feature, sort of time-lapse feature in Affinity. It would be brilliant, because you could, if you could just do time-lapse for this to create all sort of weird, so that would be all absolutely awesome. However, it's not easy to capture, because of course what happens, you've got all these pins in, which would make the picture look pretty bad. But you can see obviously that doesn't help either. So once you're happy with that, click apply, and of course you can then add some additional brushes. Well, hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.